the wrong song. That's not
Are you ready to rumble?
I don't even know if we have the rights to that. Guys, despite what you hear, Kate and I are actually very good singers.
Well, put me to the karaoke stage.
I was just about to say, you fucking crush karaoke. Like, we joke about singing, but when you go, you're one of those people who are like, oh, she's gonna go up there and be funny. And then they're
I'm
like,
so obnoxious about
God.
it. I go up there and I'm like, allow me to dazzle you all. I know who I am.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Hero by Mariah Carey.
Have we talked about this before?
Not here.
Well, you guys should hear it. And if you haven't yet, it's always on someone's Instagram story.
Can I have that hat one
Oh
day?
my God. Yeah. Wait, I gave you your stuff. Did I not give you a hat? Oh, I have one in my car.
Okay, well, that's mine.
Guys, she's talking about my merch, which sold out in 10 hours.
Are you freaking joking?
I was like crying and so excited. Also, you know what I really loved was that people went to war in the comments for me about like, because obviously I knew putting something that said like anxiety queen on merch was going to get some backlash. I knew people were going to think we were glamorizing or romanticizing mental illness. I completely understand people's concerns. I think they don't know me or my story or the people who wanted to buy it. And if it's not your way of expressing yourself, guess what? You got buy it! But it's made me
also
feel
like
really
your
good.
shirt.
Oh, thanks. It's
This Kid
titties. No, this is, I don't know who this is, but it's titties and the nipples are the female symbol.
Nice.
Speaking of my merch, did you know that the winner is gonna get my merch in the giveaway care package? Guys, we were pissing our fucking
You guys had
pants.
the funniest. Wait, let me.
You
make
guys
sure I pull this up.
crushed it. If you don't know what we're talking about, last week we announced that we were going to do a giveaway contest for a self-care package prize, and each week it was going to be a hashtag war. Last week's hashtag war was hashtag shit facts, where it was just funny, interesting facts, and my God, I laughed. You guys were so funny. We're going to read a few of our faves, and then we're going to announce this week's winner, and then we're going to announce next week's hashtag so that you guys can keep going for the next 2 weeks, and then we're going to give away our prize. Oh, and we have to tell you this because we got in trouble with our legal team.
Yes. That's why the podcast was weird last week.
Oh, yes. That's why the video didn't go up, which I didn't even fucking know it didn't go up.
Kelsey was on vacay.
I was on vacay.
And I don't edit, so...
So we were stuck in limbo. We're very sorry. But that's why you should be listening to this also on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, wherever podcasts I listen to.
What is going on?
I
thought
know.
you were tired.
I
this
was
morning.
tired, then I've had tea, and now I'm awake.
That's
and happy.
crazy. I've had like 2 coffee. I'm on my second coffee, and I'm ready to go to bed.
Oh, well, let's change that.
Tiki time! You get the hell out of my personal space.
I just tickled Kate.
I fucking hate people.
Wait, so we have to say this from our legal team. Let me read it out loud just so I don't fuck this up.
Read like shit out loud.
Hey guys, about that contest, it's not open to BuzzFeed employees or family members of employees. And you need to hashtag contest when you submit these things or else we can't consider you, blah, blah, blah. There's all these state regulations about blah, 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 continental U.S., blah, blah, blah. So when you do this week's hashtag word, just make sure to do hashtag contest when you write your tweets at us. And make sure you're tweeting them at adult shit with a 1 on Twitter. That's where we're pulling from.
And before we do that, remember last week we talked about, did we keep it in the podcast? The why is being an adult so expensive? I'm not even good at it.
Yes.
That was by
Reagan Hunt. Good job, Reagan Hunt. That was a funny tweet. Okay, these were some of my favorite tweets from the hashtag war. Some of the runners-up was one from Heather Leanne. An elephant's brain reacts to humans the same way a human's brain reacts to puppies. They think we're cute. That's fucking adorable.
That's really cute.
Another one I loved was from, this one almost won, at Americson123. Her tweet was, just a reminder that Australia once waged war on the emu population and lost. And so I did Googling about the emu war. And the emu war was also known as the Great Emu War. It was a nuisance wildlife management military operation undertaken in Australia over the latter part of 1932. They lost.
That's insane.
The humans lost to the emus. That's fucking hilarious and educational. So thanks for that one.
Here's a good one. From at Sam Scoot Probs. A snail can sleep for up to 3 years.
Ah, that's funny. Mm-hmm. How about this? From Really Late Kate, female kangaroos have 3 vaginas. Lucky.
It's just 3 more problems in my book.
I'm
just
kidding. I thought this one was interesting. At Jen_Ansley said, high heels were originally created for men. Butchers used to use them to avoid stepping in blood. That's cool, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine just like a big old fat, hairy, sweaty butcher in some like Ferragamos? What?
Don't generalize butchers.
I'm sorry, butchers aren't fairly represented in the media. I don't know what any other kind of butcher looks like. What?
Oh my God, in the late 90s, someone tried to get Puppy Channel on cable. The pilot never took off.
That's rude. At Belle Marie said a pig's orgasm can last up to 30 minutes. So I guess being a pig would be okay, says her hashtag.
Yeah, depending on where in the world you were a pig.
True, because you couldn't been eaten. Some pigs are just around the world coming their asses off.
Does throw rocks at things that shine. Everyone's mad that a pig could orgasm for 30 minutes, and they're like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm gonna eat you.
Yeah, or they get turned into bacon, which is so delicious.
Also, how did we? I mean, I know that people is this isn't a new observation, but how did we pick what animals we eat?
Dude, I see tweets about that all the time that are like, bravo to the man who like ate enough plants to find out what we could use in our spices or whatever.
Yeah.
Because probably most of those people died trying to figure out what we can and can't eat. Shout out to those people.
Why don't we eat emus?
Whoa. That maybe would have solved the emu overgrowth population in Australia. Did you think about that? I think we eat their eggs.
No.
They're very big. Should we announce this week's winner, though?
Let's announce it, baby.
Oh, man,
She killed it.
She killed it. She submitted many tweets. This is at Cheyenne_Eli. Most toilets flush in E flat.
Wait, she made so many, and she also had my second favorite. That was my favorite, and then my second favorite was Cookie Monster's real name is Sid.
I love it when you hear things like that. We were in a video where we found out that the Beast's real name was Adam from Beauty and the Beast. That just made me laugh my fucking ass off.
There was that viral meme going around with the girl who like posted, and it was her crying because she was laughing so hard. She's like, I just found out Scooby-Doo's real name, or I just remembered Scooby-Doo's real name is Scoobert Doobert.
I didn't know that.
I don't know if it's true. But
okay. We didn't fact check any of these. Congrats at Cheyenne_Eli. You're going to be submitted into our final round, which is going to be the top 3 peeps from the next 2 weeks. You have this week's hashtag war. So that one's over. Stop submitting those. Mm-hmm. Starting on Wednesday night / Thursday morning, you can start submitting.
We never picked one.
Oh, shit. We never picked one. Let's do fake history.
Is fake history good, or is stupid history better?
Stupid history.
Okay.
Oh, wait, and we can do stupid with a 1. Okay, so this week's, go ahead and tell them, Kate.
All right, this week's hashtag is stupid history. Stupid spelled with a 1. Stupid history.
Tell us the most stupid history facts.
Yes. Like, for example, we need to have examples.
Oh, shit, okay. For example, in 1980... which is history if you think about it. It's over 20 years ago. Workers in Las Vegas hospitals were suspended because they used to bet on when patients would die.
Oh my God, that's so rude.
But kind of funny. Hey, you know what would have also been a stupid history fact? That there was a Australian once waged war on the emu population. God, that just makes me fucking laugh.
Here's a stupid history fact. In ancient Egypt, people shaved eyebrows as a mourning symbol when their cats died.
What a weird thing to do.
I shaved my eyebrows on accident in 7th grade.
What?
Yep.
How do you do that on accident?
I didn't like plucking, so I would just get a razor and you get under there and go doot, doot, doot.
No,
and then,
Kate!
It was the dumbest thing that I shaved half of one off, and then I was like, oh, I should probably finish the job. Like, it just,
God.
So I shaved the rest of it off, and then I went, oh, I should make it even, and I shaved off my other one. I went, fuck!
Oh, man. And eyebrows really do change the shape of the face.
And then I was, like, drawing them on as though people couldn't tell that they were drawn on.
Yeah.
And then...
But that was cool back then, at least for a little bit.
It was the real skinny ones, yeah. And then I went to tennis practice, and I got really sweaty. And so I started the tennis practice with eyebrows, and then I ended the tennis practice
with just blurry marks on your forehead.
Yeah.
Oh, man. High school was rough. So yeah, guys, make sure you're also including the hashtag contest, or else we can't consider you for the prize of the dope ass care package, which we're still gonna put together.
Yeah.
But thank you for that. Those things made us fucking laugh, and that really made our week. It's been a couple days, but this Sunday was the Oscars.
Yeah, baby.
It's interesting how much America does not give a shit about the Oscars. It was like something like 50% of people don't watch it, but for people like us in LA, it's our fucking Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, whatever your big holiday celebration is. Did you watch?
I did. I did watch. I also played the guessing game, where you try to like do the ballot, and I won.
What did you think about just everything?
It was good. I'm still a little heartbroken that Timothy didn't win.
Timothée Chalamet, the star of
Here's the thing.
the hit indie
beautiful love story.
Gay
movie.
love story.
It's just a
Call
love
Me
story.
by Your Name.
Call Me by Your Name.
They won Best Adapted Screenplay. Was that the only big thing they won?
Yeah, I think so.
We should also mention Jordan Peele won for Best Original Screenplay, and he was the first black man to ever do that. There was a lot of big things. The first female DP was nominated, cinematographer DP. There were the first female director since in like 19 ever?
Like 8 years, I think.
Yeah. Greta Gerwig. There were some really big moments, but overall, your biggest upset was that Timothée Chalamet didn't win.
Yeah.
What is it with him?
I think he did such a good job. I've watched Call Me by Your Name 4 times in the last 4 days. It is my favorite thing.
What?
The speech that the dad gives at the end.
Oh my God.
I bought the book so that I could frame the speech.
Ooh, that's a really cute, also decorating idea.
Thank you.
Because you're a writer. Then it would be fun to have your favorite books, like quotes and stuff. Mm-hmm. You should do that.
Birthday presents. April 8th.
Yeah, I was gonna say your birthday is coming up, and we have to mention. Wait, no, this is kind of off subject of the Oscars, but you might be going to Philly because of the last week's podcast. You guys might have done it. We might have convinced my boyfriend to pay for Kate to go to Philly, and if we do, we're gonna try our damnedest to try and do some sort of live podcast. So if you guys work in like Philly theater or comedy spaces and have a place we could just bop in to record, tweet at us.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the Oscars.
Back to the Oscars. I just think that, listen, who was the guy who won? What's the guy's name who won?
For what?
Best
Gary
actor?
Oldman?
Yeah.
Sirius Black?
I haven't seen the movie.
Me neither.
So I can't say it was. All I know is that he had, a whole mask on and all this stuff, and he had the whole. In my opinion, I would assume it would be easier
to win,
to get into a character if you literally have to build the character around your face. Yeah. Whereas Timothy was like half naked the whole time. Yeah. When it's like, you know what I mean?
I can't imagine.
It was so close and intimate.
Yeah, because all those shots too, like they played it safe. They stayed in like a nice medium range, but I feel like to be that vulnerable, you have to, and to have you're having a crew, a set, you're having people,
you had to
a microphone.
film that peach scene.
Oh my God. I've had to film sex scenes for BuzzFeed videos, and it's never not awkward, no matter how well you know the person.
Or no matter how well you think you're doing, you're not. It's not easy. And I just think that he did such a beautiful job. I just loved watching him too.
Have you seen, you're going to be so pissed, that meme where someone made it? Let me see if I can find it. Official Sean Penn Instagram. Official Sean Penn used to work at BuzzFeed, and she runs a hilarious Instagram that's like curated best memes, sort of like a Fuck Jerry or whatever post. But she posted a tweet from @TrashyGayTweets that says Timothée Chalamet appreciation post, and the first picture is of Timothée Chalamet, and the other 3 are of Jonathan Chabon, Kim Kardashian's best friend. Because now that I see it, I'm like, oh my God, they do.
No, they don't. Timothy's beautiful. Jonathan is fine. She's crying.
They have both such like structured, like
you are talking about one of the most talented actors.
I'm not denying that, but I'm also not denying that he might grow up to look like Jonathan Chabon, or however you say his last name.
Timothy, if you're watching,
come on the podcast.
Come on the podcast.
Guys, just start tweeting at them. This is how you guys have been making movements. It's all from you tweeting at people for us.
Yeah, that's the only way we get anything done around here.
I was on a plane for some of the Oscars. Why are you poking me in the face right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was on a plane for the first half, which like nobody really cares about anything.
I mean, supporting actor.
Yeah, oh, that's true. The guy from Three Billboards won, but I really like listening to opening monologues because I feel like that really sets the tone. Mm-hmm. And here's my question: is why did Jimmy Kimmel get to host again when like they know that there really should be like not a straight white dude hosting, or is it that they're playing it safe the same way that like the Super Bowl asked Justin Timberlake to do it because they knew he wouldn't be like controversial. Like he wouldn't like comment.
Say controversial.
How do you say it?
Controversial.
Controversial.
No, those are different ways, but I like the way you say it better.
Oh.
Controversial.
I didn't know it sounded
Excuse me.
the wrong way.
I didn't mean to be controversial.
Is it controversial?
No. Controversial.
How do you say it?
Controversial.
Controversial? Doesn't even feel right.
Controversial.
Oh, okay.
I don't mean to be controversial.
Controversial.
I don't mean to be controversial.
Anyways, I heard rumors that like the reason why they didn't ask someone like a Kendrick Lamar or Beyonce to perform at the Super Bowl was because of they were hoping they could get someone that wouldn't comment on the take a knee protests and Black Lives Matter and
well, I mean, Jimmy Kimmel does that anyway. Like he commented on that stuff.
Yeah, I guess I just would have preferred to see someone up there like
I agree.
A Tiffany Haddish or
didn't
someone
quite
that
understand. I love Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. I love him. I didn't understand the hot dog throwing.
I missed that part.
They were shooting hot dogs into the audience of people going to see. Fucking
Wrinkle in Time.
Yeah,
which I also want to go see. Oh, because that was the thing is they went to the Chinese theater next door and surprised a bunch of people with a bunch of Oscar winners, and then probably were shooting.
And then surprised them with Oscar wieners.
Oh, that's funny. You don't get that?
I literally just said it. Of course I get it.
But you said you didn't understand the hot dog part.
I don't understand why they thought it was a good idea to throw hot dogs at human beings.
Oh, I just laughed. I thought that was funny.
I thought it was awful.
Anyways, I think Jimmy Kimmel, fine. He did fine, but
yeah, he was good.
I'd like
Tiffany
to see
Haddish maybe next time.
What they say would be taking a risk, but it's really just like letting the people have what they actually want, which is
Tiffany Haddish.
We want Tiffany Haddish to come on this podcast more than anything.
Yeah,
I'm so happy for her.
Me too.
Anything else about the Oscars? Boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats. Let's go to the ads. Ads.
Spring break.
Is that us coming back in? Spring break, y'all.
Spring break. Isn't that from Spring Breakers?
Yeah, spring. I thought it said spring break, bitch. Spring break, bitch.
Yeah, but I think you just like spring break.
Oh, that movie was something else.
Spring break.
That sounds like just spring break. Spring break. Spring break, spring break, spring break, spring break.
Don't get eaten by a shark on spring break.
I wonder if anyone has been eaten by a shark on spring break.
The girl from Jaws. Oh, no.
That was summer.
That was summer. That was right before the fall.
There really is okay, so it's spring break for most of our listeners here. If you don't know what spring break is, if you're a
nerd,
international...
I'm just kidding. I never went.
Well, I was going to say like an international listener where it's not like a huge
I think
thing.
people know what spring break is.
Okay, fine.
Also, international listeners probably take more holidays.
Yeah, not vacation. So it is a holiday, vacation.
Spring holiday.
Over spring break, in between semesters at college or university, as all UK listeners would say.
We love you. Please have us there.
Yes, we want to come so bad.
We want to come so bad.
Where college-age students usually go to a tropical location where the only dress code is bikinis and Malibu rum. And it's just about getting as wasted and having as much ridiculous fun as possible. Mm-hmm. And as someone who grew up in Florida, it was one of the biggest spring break destinations of the world. And every spring, no matter if we were in like high school or college, we would go and we would participate. And I gotta be honest, it was one of the most exciting times of the year just because there's no rules when you're on spring break. What happens on spring break stays on spring break. Mm-hmm. You never had any spring breaks?
No.
I thought you went down to like New Orleans once.
No, I've been meaning to go.
Oh.
I have still yet to go.
Oh.
But I didn't do any of that spring break. What did I do for
What
my
was the spring break thing
Probably
up in-
practice for the musical.
Which is admirable and important.
Yeah, community theater, spring break.
But spring break 10 years ago down in Florida was just about fucking getting down there, getting down, going down, fucking people, drinking, getting sunburnt, pools,
Getting roofied.
So, okay, listen. This is going to be a hard subject for me to talk about. And I told Kate, I messaged her this weekend and was like, I need to talk about this film because I wish I had seen this before going on spring break. And I feel like we have so many listeners that are gearing up to go do this that I just want, even if you're not in college, everyone to watch this film. It's a documentary on Netflix called Liberated, The New Sexual Revolution. It's a film by Benjamin Nolte. And it's all about the normalization and sexual exploitation that happens in Panama City over spring break. They filmed it in 2017. And when I started watching this, I was like, what the fuck is this? It follows a group of guys who come down to Panama City at first. And let me tell you, I was fuming the first half of the movie. And I couldn't stop watching because it is just this group of cis white men who are staying on the beach and literally just pick women off, fucking bang them and hook up with them and get them drunk. And I'm not saying that it's only the dudes doing this, because then the second half of the film switches to a female's perspective. And boy, I was so angry. I cried. I was enraged. It ends on a huge, crazy, impactful, like goosebump-inducing moment, and so I don't want to spoil it for you guys. And it's not really spoiling it because it's a true story. It's a documentary, and anyone could look up this information. But there was a point in the documentary where there's two girls who reminded me just of me when I was in high school on spring break, who go to do this bikini competition, and they get up on stage, and there's hundreds of people that are like judging their bodies, and they have to twerk for 15 seconds. And before they all go out on stage, the guy who's running the contest, who obviously is someone who like works in the industry and does this shit all the time, says, okay, this is what you're gonna do. And he starts oiling them up, like without even asking. He's just like spraying shit on them and is like, you go up there, you dance, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. If you want to show your titties, obviously they're gonna like you more, so we obviously encourage that. And all of them are like, no, we're just gonna go up there and twerk. They go up there, and they even talk about this. He starts manipulating the crowd and is like, who wants to see her tits? And of course the crowd just goes fucking nuts. And the girl who was like, no, I'm not going to show my tits, almost shows her tits. She was like, I would never go up there. I would never do that. But there is something about having men validate you in a crowd of that size that made her second guess her morals. And she almost showed her tits. And then, the whole crowd boos her and she feels like shit about herself. And she goes and she stands back down the line. And the next girl who comes up just flips her tits out and the crowd goes fucking wild. And I just felt so bad. And then she says something about, all these women on spring break, there's two sides to it, right? There is this new revelation where now women also have or feel like they have the power to have one night stands and hook up, and it's not just a dude thing anymore, right? Like women do that now, and we're really lucky that we live in a time where it is shifting, but there is still the majority of these women doing things for men's validation. And it would be one thing if, there were different kinds of bodies and different races and genders represented across the media, but there is this one specific like Victoria's Secret type bikini model that we're told men want, and that's what's hot. And if we're not that, then we're not sexual or sexy or valuable or worthy. And this culture, this spring break culture, is all about having that one dude that wants to hook up with you, or like having the one, like, have fun with your friends and drink and party. But like the ultimate goal of spring break is to fuck, and hopefully you're getting the hottest dude that will validate you. And I think there is a shift that's happening, and there's definitely a line where I go back and forth all the time where I'm like, I want to be needed and I want to be wanted, but also I don't give a shit. I'm going to fuck whoever I want. And I wish I had this movie 10 years ago to watch before going on spring break, and just seeing the culture of it. And it dives deep into sexual coercion and how men can manipulate women into hooking up with them when they really didn't want to, about alcohol culture and how that perpetuates specific types of behavior. And man, it was just, I've never felt something so much. And I think it's because I grew up with this being so close to me and participating in it, that it was such a good film, because when you leave feeling this way and wanting to talk about it, I think it's, even though it was a terrible situation and terrible things happen, I'm so glad I watched it.
I'm interested in what you said earlier about the girl being on stage, because I think this is where part of my beliefs are like a little outdated, maybe, but I was raised to, I mean, at that point, it's sort of like, what did you expect?
Yeah.
You're getting on stage to twerk
Yeah.
on spring break. Do you really think that you're walking into a place where they're going to respect you? You know what I mean? I think that's it. I think that's like a really important thing. I think we need to, raise our kids better or whatever.
Yeah.
But I also think that, if you, I think I've said this on this podcast before. If you see a car flying down the street, they might have a stop sign and they should stop.
Yeah.
But if you walk out, you might still get hit. So what do you want to be right or do you want to be safe? And I think that's like, I think there's like a big argument right now with like, well, things shouldn't be that way. And I totally agree. But they just
is.
But it's also like spring break is notorious
Yeah.
for being shitty and slimy and gross. It is something that truly never appealed to me in any way. I thought about big crowds. It was dangerous.
Oh my God, I was the opposite.
All of like the alcohol, and I thought about getting roofied, which is funny because I've tried to not get roofied my whole life, and then I got roofied as an adult. But like that's...
And they talk to the women, like they cut to interviews of the beach goers and the spring breakers, and they do this one section on talking to the women about these stage contests. And the girls are, like I said, it's half where they're like, I just feel empowered and fucking sexy being up there and having all these men look at me, and that's something I could never do at like my private Christian college. And then there's the other half that are like, yeah, I want that dude to think I'm desirable and hot, and that's it's hard to not be
people want to
roped
be
into that.
Desired. People want to be.
They want to be needed. That's just basic human fucking existence.
That whole scenario bums me out, and it has always bummed me out like my whole life. Because I want so badly for there to be a world where someone would be interested in more than just tits. You know what I mean? And I just had a conversation with a friend yesterday about this, and like I lost a lot of like hope. Like he basically he said all the, I mean, it doesn't matter, he's kind of younger, so but whatever, but it was like talking about how there's like a certain way that you like approach flirting, and a certain like, that you have like lower your voice and look a certain way and lift up your tits or whatever. And I mean, I've heard that from like girls too, and I don't know. I know that there's, I don't know how to like put this into words, but let me try. I know that I've gotten really good at keeping a safe distance, because that sort of stuff makes me feel really unsafe, because I don't like the idea of, I'm not the type of person who wants to just fuck and then leave right now. And I think that there's such a level of like disrespect there, and I wish that this wasn't the case. But I also think that like I've always felt more comfortable inserting myself as like a sisterly role. Or like, like that you wouldn't even think to fuck me, because
like you're holding the hair back, or like
even the sisterly role to like guys. So like I'm one of the guys, and I like joke with them or whatever, and then then they don't look at me about because that I want love. I don't want that sort of like thing. But I also I don't know how to like explain this. I'm having a hard time explaining it.
I think you're hitting the nail on the head, because it's different for every person. And I thought that's what this film did great, was like, there are some women who were there saying like, I'm doing this because I want to have a one night stand, and I want to wake up tomorrow and never talk to this motherfucker again. And part of me was like, hell yeah, girl. And then the other half of me, which is terrible, was like, I don't fucking believe you.
Ooh.
Like, I don't think that's what you want, because that's what I did. It was completely self-projection, but back in spring breaks, I would, even when I had boyfriends, like my boyfriend at the time would be like, Yeah, I don't care if you hook up with a chick. Like, do what you want. Get crazy. Fucking wet t-shirt contest. Wet t-shirt contest. That's like, I want my girl to win that. I want my girl to be the girl that's like hooking up with other chicks. And I thought that's what guys thought were sexy. And I almost feel like it made me kind of who I am today to believe that that is what I like.
Whoa.
And it's taken a long time.
Wow.
To realize that, like, okay, if there's no dudes around, I'm single, I'm in a steady job, I love my life, I'm completely alone. Is that what I really want? And there are absolutely things that I have changed about myself that were ingrained in me about what I thought men thought was sexy and what I wanted. Like, for instance, tits. Like, I always wanted a boob job. I wanted a boob job my whole life and felt so embarrassed. And when I would have sex, I wouldn't, do positions that showed off my boobs. And I was so self-conscious about it. And now I fucking would never change my tits for the world. It's my favorite thing about me. Aww. But there were times where I like questioned my bisexuality because we've talked about this before. Like, it's something that was for years it was appealing for the male gaze.
It was more an act.
Yeah, it was more like, oh, watch if I make out with this chick, then like that dude will like me.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting how I feel like we both were affected in two different ways by almost the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
I can't help but think that it's also because of, maybe not, but looking a certain way.
Yeah, fair.
You know what I mean? Like, I never... And I don't know. I feel like I understand that it's nice to like take care of yourself and show that you're like putting forth an effort and you want to look good. But I personally feel like I'm going more in the opposite direction because I'm just sort of like so scared of that like closeness with other people. Mm-hmm. And I think that like the idea of going to spring break and just fucking and drinking and...
I understand what you're saying because the way that you're talking about taking care of yourself, right? Yeah. Like, there was a time in my life, and it didn't happen until I was older, that I stopped looking quote unquote hot or like getting ready or doing my hair and makeup. I stopped doing it for men. Mm-hmm. And that shift took time, and I wish I would have let that release go when I was a teenager. I wish I would have not given a fuck what the dudes around me thought about me because I think I would have been a lot happier, and I feel like you didn't give a fuck too much about what the guys around you, or it was like a protective thing that you did where it was being best friends with the guys.
But it would be like, oh yeah, I don't care, I'll just wear this like hoodie or whatever and not do makeup and yada yada yada, and it was like, yeah, I'm chill, I'm cool, but it was way more armor than it was a choice. And now I feel like I'm in that sort of same position as you. Was like, oh, I don't know if that's what I actually like, or like I don't know, I avoid anything that would make me desirable. You know what I mean? Like, people know how to contour and they know how to put on makeup and do their fucking hair, and I'm just like, no, I don't want to do any of that because I think I decided not to care so that I wouldn't ever be in danger, because to me, any sort of intimacy like that felt like danger.
Or like sexuality even.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a quote, I forget who it is. I'm going to have to find it and say it next week. But it was like, how many feelings of like discontent have been our own and how many have been because of romantic discourse? Like, think about all the time we've spent frustrated or angry or sad or not feeling worthy or not feeling loved because it was what we actually felt, or was it because of the actions of trying to like please someone else? Yeah. And I feel like maybe you've in a weird way gotten to like miss out on some of it in a good way, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because you've kept yourself quote unquote safe. Yeah. Is that right? I don't know.
It's just what it is. Yeah.
It is what it is. And I almost feel like it comes back to that same saying of like, it's better to have loved and lost than to never loved at all. And I always say, nah, man, I would have rather not loved at all, because that shit is not fucking worth it. It's so not worth it.
This reminds me of a quote from the end of a movie I like to call Me By Your Name. Where it says, to feel nothing so as to not feel anything, what a waste.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. So good.
Say that again.
To feel,
for the people in the back.
To feel nothing so as to not feel anything, what a waste. So here's where I'm at right now, okay? And I want to get back to what you were talking about too. But I think for so long I've been trying to not feel anything at all that I feel like now I'm almost like grieving all of the times that I missed out. You know what I mean? And then I talked to my friend yesterday, and it really fucked with me because he was just like basically just saying like, this is what guys like and this is what guys want, and very like old school ideas and like, this is what, this is what'll get you attention. And I don't think it upset me that it was him saying it as much as it was a couple things. One, that I always seem to find a way to find someone who's going to say stuff like that. You know what I mean? Stuff that I consider really
toxic,
small-minded and
old school thinking, in a way.
But then the thing that scares me the most is, what if he's right? That's what scares me. Because I'm losing faith right now, and I'm like, thank God I am bisexual, because I might only have the emotional capacity to be with a woman, because right now I don't know. I haven't been proven otherwise. The only time I've seen men be respectful is when they're in my family, or it's at work and they have to be. You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
Men are fucking trash.
And that idea of being like, guys and girls can't be friends. Like, I do have a couple friends, but then like, that are guys, but then it makes me wonder, because then like the guy was like, that's only if they don't want to, like, this was in When Harry Met Sally too, that's only if they don't want to have sex with you. What?
I've never seen When Harry
Oh no! What are you doing tonight?
What?
What are you doing tonight?
I guess watching Harry Met Sally.
Oh, the baby gonna come over and watch Harry Met Sally.
And we could cook our Blue Apron?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
What the hell was I saying?
Oh, sorry. About men being disrespectful.
And then, but then men and women, straight, or not straight, but men and women who would be attracted to each other. I don't know. Yeah, I guess hetero or could be queer, right? Yeah.
Oh, I just pulled something out of my ear.
Yikes. But then I'm like, oh, so if they're not attracted, or if they don't want to fuck me, that's why we're able to be friends, and that must mean that I'm unfuckable, right? And so then I start going down this, and I said this to him yesterday, because the guy I was talking to was like, I'm not attracted to you, and I was like, holy shit, you just called me ugly. And he's like, no, I didn't. He's like, if you had like, if you had your tits out and you were talking in like a low voice and
what does that even
flirting?
Fucking mean?
I know, he's like, he doesn't.
Hello. With my this shirt.
What's up,
and you
sailor?
know what? That comes back to like the toxic masculinity of what we're taught is
I've
hot.
heard that from women. That has been dating advice that I've gotten from women when it comes to flirting. And I'm so discouraged right now because I want to say to like everyone who's listening, who's like younger too, and maybe going through it as well, probably going through it as well.
Who doesn't go through this shit,
being like, there's someone out there, and there's someone there, and I'm not trying to be like a Debbie Downer, but I don't fucking know. Because I want someone like Jim Halpert, right? Or someone like on it.
The Office.
Okay. Or someone who would respect a woman before that woman did something for them. Just as another human being.
I hate to say that that's like when I was talking about earlier about like when I realized I was bisexual for myself and not for men.
Yes.
Like that's where that moment kind of came from, was that this could be a broad generalization, and tweet, fucking at me if I'm wrong, but like I always felt that women respected me as a woman more, and they understood me, and it was just easier.
Not even just as a woman, it's as a person.
Fair.
Like I'm having a really hard time with that whole idea, and that whole like you have to look this way to get this like admiration. But why do you have to not want to fuck me in order for you to treat me like a friend,
or even like a person you would want to fuck? Like, why can't we be nice to everyone?
Why? Like I don't think it's all men. I do think
we're not all menning here
at all, and I do.
But we're
think
majority menning.
Majority of the men that I'm currently drawn to, and I think that comes from being like self-destructive in a way of being like, it's almost like you're drawn to a bug zapper, because it's just like, maybe this time I'll get him, maybe this time I'll be able to reason with him, and that made me lose faith too, because I'm like, should I just keep talking about this to maybe make them see the light? And then I was like, is it a problem that it can't be fixed? I don't know. It was really frustrating.
It starts with the culture of masculinity and how toxic it is, and again, and with media, and that's something that like women play into as well, and like not leaving out non-binary. I hate fucking going men and women, because like I don't believe that that's the scale, but the majority of culture still believes in this binary, like men are supposed to be strong, blue, women are supposed to be submissive, pink, and obviously that's like shifting, and there is a belief, like I do think women are starting to have belief in their own power, and I worry about what that will meet when it does meet toxic masculinity.
See, that's really interesting because I was, even in this conversation, I was like, he mentioned, he's like, well, once you get to a certain age, you could understand reason, so that being raised a certain way doesn't really, and I'm like, no, because culturally you're raised a certain way.
Yeah.
And, you know, the way people look at you and the way they interact with you forms the way you see the world and conduct yourself through the world. Mm-hmm. Which is very interesting because then we have a whole bunch of subliminal messages. So there's no one out there being like, you're a girl, you gotta be soft. I mean, maybe there is. There's probably some dick in a bar somewhere doing that who like has a small penis and has never found a clitoris. But, I mean, if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Anyway, right. So then you have like all of these underlying like things where like, get your best body, the idea of like a fucking revenge body or like, you know, all these cleaning commercials with women cleaning and being like, my husband's such a slob, I'm gonna clean up after him. Or like, honey, I know where your keys are. Like, she has to have it all together and doesn't have a whole bunch of boxes and trash that she didn't throw out of her house yet, and clothes that she didn't donate yet. You know what I mean? I want to see that woman on a commercial.
Yeah.
Just being like, I'm fucking tired. And Almay is the only thing that works easy for my skin. You know? Something like that.
And that's not even like what being bi, I keep referring back, but like it's not what being bi is about, is that like you don't, you know, like you're getting something from women that you don't get from men, because I do think that that's ignorant thinking, because
I think it's
looking at people as genders and not as people.
But everyone, I mean, people will talk about everyone having masculine and feminine energies. No
Absolutely.
Matter who.
Yeah, I think I fully have big masculine energy, and I don't mean that in the way of being like, I'll fuck whatever I want. But then I think, well, it's because I'm like a leader. And I do all the time. Yeah. Because I want to. But and then I say, well, it's because I'm a leader and I'm not afraid of what people think of me, and I'm not afraid to say what I think. But then I go, why does that have to be a fucking masculine trait? Why can't that just be a strong feminine trait?
Right.
It makes me angry.
That's when people are like, gender is a construct. That's for sure.
God, imagine how great spring break could be if it wasn't about male-female.
Yeah. Also, imagine if it was cool with like consent and shit. Okay, so that's another, that like, man, that really upset, I don't know, that upset me for so many reasons about her being on stage and like, because my initial thought is like, well, don't be on stage, right?
But then it's like, why can't you be? And just be, because you do feel like you have a power over, it makes you feel powerful over that feeling of needing to validate men. It's kind of like, look, I'm doing this for me, not for you. Because again, it's like, we don't believe it, right? We don't believe that a girl would go up there and do it for herself.
Right.
It's fucked up.
I don't think that no one would. I don't necessarily think that. I just think that then she's not a celebrity. She's not going to have, you know, a bodyguard. Then she's going to walk off the stage.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, then you have these drunk guys who are like, well, you're at spring break, so obviously you're looking for my dick.
And obviously,
I'm going to pound all 3 inches into you, dude.
That's when they talk about sexual coercion and just how, I mean, it's happened to me. I've had sex with people I absolutely did not want to have sex with. I have hooked up with people that in the moment, I don't fucking know how, like when I look back on it, especially thinking about spring break, I think in my head, how the fuck why did I do that? And then my first thought is I blame myself, and then I blame the alcohol. Yeah. I go, well, I must have wanted to do this in some capacity, or I must have wanted the attention, so it's my fault, rather than going, there is a culture of sexual coercion that comes from a place of toxic masculinity that...
And now it just feels real. And it just feels like the truth.
And then it affects women,
right? Whereas
men are going, yes, I add another notch to my belt, and that's what matters, and you know... And oh my God, there's a beautiful moment in this film where the guys, it comes out towards the third act, but it's like they're only doing this for each other as dude friends. They're not actually doing it because they want to hook up with as many girls as they can. They're doing it because they have to, or else they're labeled a pussy, a little bitch.
Right.
Like
that's what makes me wonder. That's what makes me wonder. Am I being too hopeful by thinking that, I mean, no, because I think that everyone cries when they're younger. They cry when they're hungry. They cry when they're upset. And then two people, you know, a man and a woman that are told, you're a man, you're a woman, so you do this, and you feel like this, and you hide your tears, and you don't know how to fix your own things. You just know what strong man to call to fix these things for you. And then we kind of like continue on our way. And I do wonder what it would, because that's the weird thing, is that we could move forward and, you know, raise children differently. But by the time but then we're never, I mean, I just don't think we'll ever necessarily see the change. It'll be for our kids. But by that time, the planet's going to be done.
I think it would be cool if we gave some, like, I don't know, tips for anyone going out on spring break, like some things. Obviously, my initial thing would be like, be safe, cover your drinks, like bring a friend with you. But I think there's something deeper than that, of like, maybe before you get in that car and take that road trip and, you know, blast those hip hop songs and start shooting fucking Parrot Bay in the backseat, think about what you actually want out of this. And are you doing it for you, or are you doing it for someone else? Are you doing it as a man to impress your friends? Are you doing it so that women will feel like shit about themselves later? Does that make you feel good? Or as a female or a woman, does hooking up with a stranger who you might never see again actually feel good to you? Are you doing it because you want to try it and see if that feels good to you? Fucking wear protection, for the love of God.
Yeah.
And sunscreen. Wear sunscreen.
Okay. I think that if you're... I have such a skewed view of sex and parties.
That's why people listen to us, because we're different.
So I would say, to me, it sounds like you're swimming with sharks.
No puns.
And so just, man, just be careful.
Don't be the bait.
No, I don't mean that. I just mean, like, the sad reality is that if you pass out on the beach, chances are people aren't going to help you.
Unless you have some friends who are also going to be looking out for themselves.
It's not the way people
friend.
should behave or think, but I think that is the current climate of where we are. And I think that just try really hard not to be in that position. Yeah, I definitely think you should be able to go and party and pass out and wake up and be like, oh, fuck, that was crazy.
We do it all the time now.
But I mean, I just think that you got to be really wary of when you trust, you know, you're trusting a bunch of drunk frat strangers.
Yeah.
Guys or girls, you know, I don't know.
Oh my God. These kinds of vacations can have lasting impacts if, you know, something happens. Not saying it doesn't happen every single day to, you know, every kind of race, gender, sexuality, but specifically when you're going into something like spring break, where it is about alcohol culture, it is about hookup culture, just know that rather be safe than sorry. Is that terrible to say?
No. I mean, I wish we didn't have to say that.
Yeah.
I wish it was different. I do think that, like, if you're a guy going, you know, please just be respectful. And
I
you know
hate that
what I mean?
I hate that we sound like a little man-hatey, because after watching this film, I did feel that way. So I don't want it to come across as that. But I hate that, like, I just am assuming the worst of men, because historically the men have done the worst things to women.
Yeah, and I think that there's a hive mind. That's what worries me. Is that alone, I don't necessarily, like, I think these guys would be like, yeah, of course I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like, of course not. But that's why football happens. You know what I mean? It's just being like, let's fucking rage at this other team. And, like, you know what I mean? And it's cool. It's like this brute strength. And it's something I'll never understand. But I appreciate.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. That I like a hive mind. I've done improv, but I think that it's in the same way that it's really hard for women to speak up when they're feeling unsafe. It must be really hard for a man to speak up when the vibe is unsafe.
Ooh, yeah.
Because then it's unsafe for them too. And I understand that it's all very difficult, and this is all like new, really, because you know people have been talking about it, but not really like. It hasn't been such a movement, it feels like. I would be so scared to go, quite honestly.
I think, too, because it was so normal for me. Like, it wasn't a scary thing. But looking back on it, I cannot believe the things I did.
Yeah.
I cannot believe the things I saw and said nothing or did nothing. I can't believe we comforted each other the next day.
Bring mace.
Oh, I love mace. Love a good
Bring mace. Get a
keychain.
taser.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that and just remember that you have it. And
Again, I still feel bad that it's like women protect yourselves rather than like men don't be rapists. You know? Not that women don't rape, because they for sure do, but historically and in this spring break culture, you know, I would love to go to like a gay weekend. I would love to go to a gay spring break weekend and just see how that's different.
Maybe, but see, that's interesting that you feel bad saying this thing, but that's the truth.
I know. I feel
that's just what happens.
You know, because it's my guy friends from home. It's my friends that I grew up with that I have had to detach myself and my thinking and my morals from.
Right.
And not saying like, yay, pat myself on the back, like I deserve to be fucking awarded because now I'm a liberal, like free thinking, good person.
Yeah.
But it's that same way that things are ingrained in you from Catholicism or whatever, or the way that it constructed your thinking to be like, well, don't go on stage if you don't want to be looked at. Well, I know these people. I know these guys. I know that they're capable of change. I know that they aren't all bad. But again, like, I hate saying not all men because I feel like I am talking about to all these men that are going to spring break.
I don't think you have to be a bad person to do bad things.
Boom.
So that's like, it could be a good guy, you know, it could be a good girl, it could be, you know, whatever, like a good person. And then they just indulge this, you know, drunkenly indulge these things. And sometimes you really don't know what the fuck you're doing when you're drunk. I know that this pales in comparison, but I have a habit now of getting drunk and drunk ordering Grubhub pizza and falling asleep before I could get it. So I just keep giving pizza.
Happening.
It happened twice now, and I'm really upset because when I'm drunk, I'll be like, I want it all. It's just pizza in a bunch of different forms: pizza, cheesy breadsticks, garlic, all that shit.
Yeah.
And then, you know, whatever. But, you know, I don't even want to do that at the time. But the main thing is like a primal, like, nah, I'm gonna eat now.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that what scares me is that idea of everyone's reckless and everyone's letting loose, and there is a possibility of someone not even knowing what they're doing.
It makes me
so that's scary too, as a guy, to be like, I would never do that, and then you get really drunk and you cross shit, you know,
cross-pollinate your insecurities and your
and then you have all your different alcohols and the different drugs or whatever, and then the next thing you know, you're a fucking monster. And girls too.
It makes me cry a little bit, because I also just wiped my eye at the same time I said it makes me cry. I wasn't actually crying.
Cry where? Here?
Yeah, in my heart. Because I joke saying that I'm so thankful that I grew up in Florida and got to be fucked up and fuck up early on, because I'm so thankful, because that's what's made me who I am today. But it also makes me incredibly sad that that's how I gained my strength and became like a strong, independent woman, because I know that there are millions of women that's going to happen to, where something terrible or terrible things or terrible culture is going to have to be ingrained in them for them to be able to, as an adult, look at that and go, that was so wrong, rather than recognizing it and having strength to see it early. And it just makes me sad, because it makes me feel like who I am and who I'm built on is like a terrible thing.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I understand your feeling.
Yeah.
You know, and being like, you know, you have to unlearn a whole bunch of stuff and whatnot, and I empathize with that completely. I know what that's like.
Yeah,
but
you do have that in a different form.
Yeah. And but I still think that, you know, it still does make you who you are, whatever it did, you know. And you're even if having the opportunity to be like, I could have been different, or this could have been different. You have that perspective, and I think perspective is the most important thing, instead of just being like, you know what I mean, to like question, why do I think this way and why am I doing it? I think that's like the most important thing a human could really ask themselves is, why am I thinking this way?
And that's what we're trying to say, I think, with this. Is like, if you have the opportunity and you're listening to this and you can really, and you're younger and you have the chance, or older, we're talking about spring break, I don't know, I was going college age and younger, if you have the chance to really fucking sit down and think about these things now.
Yeah.
I don't know if saying like it'll save you a lot of fucking grief or like, you know, therapy bills when you're older.
I mean,
but
some lessons have to be learned.
yes, fair.
But then, you know, if you can, if you're able to take this and
I just want them all to know how beautiful and important.
It's
and
so crazy
valuable.
how quickly I turned into my mother.
Oh God.
Just that quick. I mean, I already was. I was the mom even when I was younger, just being like, you guys be careful. Text me when you get back. I'm going to turn in. And but
I just want you to know that like your bodies are yours.
Oh.
Your own.
That's another thing. I know a lot of particularly white women
probably right.
are not used to, from my experience, setting boundaries. And I feel like, and I think that something that we talk about on the podcast without actually saying boundaries is boundaries. I definitely think that that's something that could be practiced and utilized on a spring break type of thing by saying, I know that there's sometimes you feel like, even how we were just like, oh, I feel kind of bad because it feels like I'm saying all men, and that's sort of like a trait of being like, oh, I feel bad calling them out for their actions. You know what I mean? I'm not, of course we're not saying all men. We don't want to do that. We think that is counterproductive, you know, but that's what we've seen. You know what I mean?
That's our truth.
Yeah.
That's our upbringings.
You are not responsible for someone else's feelings. If you're in a dangerous situation, try to avoid it if you can. And if you're in a situation where like this could get physical and like dangerous, fight. Really?
Yeah.
I mean, but it's scary. It's scary because if they're drunk and they're just it's so sensitive to talk about. And the thing is, like, when I'm talking about it, I have in my head like some person on the internet being like, let's pick apart this and show why feminism's ruining stuff. And that's like, I'm so fearful of even speaking up to tell other people to speak up.
To just like treat women with equality rather than as things, which is what a lot of
fuck it, kick them, fight back, bring fucking mace.
Yeah, bring fucking mace.
I have mace.
You do?
Hell yeah.
I don't have mace. I just have thunder thighs. I always feel like that can take care of everything. I could literally choke a man with my thighs.
I'd rather blind him. Blind him, push him out into traffic. I don't care. Well, I do care. I don't want to. But I don't.
God, I love this.
I don't know, man. I have so much to think about. When we generalize, you know what I mean? And I know that could be really insulting to someone who's like, I'm not a bad guy. I didn't do, like, I'm not a bad, you know, and he wouldn't do the things that we say that you're doing, and I'm not saying that you would or anything like that. If what we're saying doesn't apply to you, fantastic.
You're doing great, buddy.
Wonderful.
You're doing great.
Yes.
Nothing to worry about.
If it might apply to you or you're kind of triggered by it, maybe it does. What we're saying is that you're not a bad person. You can stop doing shitty things.
Boom.
Or letting shitty things happen.
Or having shitty friends or shitty groups of
These are things within your control, is all I'm saying. And
I like that.
And I think that that's like really important, is that I don't think that it's I'm right, you're wrong, totally, X them out, get them out of here, put them on an island. I don't think it's like that. I think it's a really uncomfortable process of like peeling back layers of not who we are, but who we were taught to be. And so if you're insulted by it, it's really not even you.
Yeah.
I think you started really, really good. And I think that it's still there. So I just think that, you know, same with any sort of hateful that's disguised as true feelings or actions. You know what I mean? It's fear.
Well said. She always says things so well. You guys fucking know she does. You okay? You did really good.
Does love exist?
Yeah, it does.
I don't know, man.
It does. Guys, again, that movie is called Liberated, The New Sexual Revolution. It's on Netflix by Benjamin Nolt. I don't know how to say his last name. And, you know, send us your pictures from spring break. We love to see you and your friends having a good time. I'd love to see that. Well, shifting to maybe a lighter thing. We've been introducing this new segment where we tell you guys our one adult thing that felt like maybe it was helping us be more of an adult this weekend or this past week. Do you have a thing?
Yeah, it's kind of long.
Oh, boy.
I know. It's Call Me By Your Name. But the thing is, I know I already said it in the beginning. I know.
Were we wrong about Queer Eye? All y'all motherfuckers be watching Queer Eye because we told you. We're not wrong, is what I'm saying.
So call me by your name. I want so badly to believe in true good love. And that was just so sweet. It was so sweet. So
you want to believe in good love, true love?
I want to believe in that. I don't know if it's being naive to believe in that. I still do, but maybe it only exists in books and movies, in which case that's just where I'll continue to dwell.
I like that.
Thanks.
Mine is also a media recommendation. I watched this documentary on Netflix again this weekend. I was traveling a lot, that's why I watched so many things. It is a Katie Couric doc on Netflix called something about the gender gender revolution. You can fucking Google it. I was with my parents this weekend, and of course we were talking about just culture and my life, and some subjects came up about gender, and this documentary I feel like is a very easy way to learn about gender and the spectrum and intersex people, transgender people, and it was an elementary way. I felt like it would be something that I recommend to anyone that doesn't fully understand or feels confused by it or scared of learning because the fear of fucking up or not being PC. And it was something that I would recommend to anyone who has like parents, because people fucking love Katie Couric. Parents love Katie Couric, and they trust her, and she does a really good job of explaining it, taking just a fucking deep dive into it as someone who knows nothing about it. And I would recommend it. I want to give shout outs this week to grilled cheeses. I just also wanted to shout out grilled cheeses. They're a fantastic
We both
snack.
had grilled cheese at different times this week.
But maybe that was the universe's way of putting us together.
Maybe we were eating them at the same time.
Oh my god, how cute!
Did you have one on Saturday?
I did!
What time?
Well, it was mountain time, so I would say about 4.
4 o'clock
So that
Colorado time, so it would be 3 o'clock. I had it at about 1 o'clock.
Ah, okay. And then also I posted about it on my Instagram story. My ex-boyfriend saw it, and then he made a grilled cheese, and I was like, bitch, I know you still be looking at my Instagram stories.
Wow.
It's fine.
Grilled cheese is as contagious.
I want to shout out Christina from Norway, from Taylor Cote. Oh, God. Brooke Taylor, as fucking always. At Becca Carty. At Christine Piercy. And at Her Worshipfulness. Guys, you can get my merch at shopkidbell.com. Kidbell with 2 Ds.
And I'd like to shout out at _CVV_ at Mayalu.
Nice.
And at Eman Gamma Megahead.
That's a fun one to say.
It's her last name.
Oh, what's the hashtag again?
Stupid history with
a
a
1. Nice. And don't forget to hashtag contest.
Iman made a drawing of me, and I love that.
That was one on your gram story.
Yeah.
Guys, if you ever make fan art or like get the merch or whatever, please tag us so we can see it, because we love seeing that. It makes us feel good. It just makes us feel special. Doesn't everyone want to just feel special?
I just want to feel special.
You can follow me at Kelsey Darrow on all the things.
You can follow me at Kate Peterman on Instagram, or at KYTEPEA. We're all done.
We'll see you next week.
Fucking bye.
Wait, you gotta say it with me.
Fucking.
Wait for me.
Wow.
Fuck you.